Thank you. So the first on our list, our panelist, is Owa Agbonile. He is the Chief Software Architect and the CEO of InfoWARE. He'll be taking us through the first session, and subsequently during the next session, I'll be introducing our panelists. Like I said, we have dedicated 1 hour of this time to actually enlighten you on what you are going to expect. And we'll try as much as possible to keep to time. Owa, kindly confirm that you are ready for us so that you could share your video, and I could hand over the floor to you.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for the introduction, Sandra. Appreciate it very much. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, let me say thank you and welcome to everybody that's taking their time off their busy schedule to attend this webinar. We're very excited to really, bring this to all our customers and then tell them how exactly this will benefit their businesses. And we hope that is just the beginning of the conversation that we're going to be having with customers on this. So I believe you can see my screen also, or have we started sharing?
No, not yet. You are not sharing your screen yet.
Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. Excellent. So I hope you can see my screen there.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just a quick, I'm going to run through this, try and put myself on a timer so that we stay on time. Let me just quickly do that. So the first thing I want to just go through is that I want to give everybody a little bit of a context as to why we're doing this, and then of course they delve into the exact benefits that it presents to our customers. So about 5 years ago, we really started thinking about the evolution of the next stage of what enterprise software should look like, especially for the ecosystem we work in, which is the Nigerian African ecosystem. We are present in about 4 countries. Nigeria is our biggest market. And prior to that, about 10 years ago, when I really became MD of InfoWARE, one of the things we also did was something along these lines. And we created something that matched the times. The times was a low latency, very low poor internet connectivity situation. So we wanted to create something that would enable our customers to scale irrespective of where their operations were or was. And we did that back then. So this time around, so we looked at the nature of the ecosystem that we had, right? So we really started thinking about that evolution. And one of the key things was, and this was even pre-COVID, by the way, one of the key things was that you had to have a fantastic user experience. Everybody was going more and more online. It was less what you do on the back end and more what your customers see and what your customers perceive. So you had to have a seamless and fantastic user experience. The other thing was that mobile could not be one of those things you graft in anymore, like it kind of used to be. And it wasn't just talking about mobile apps now. It was the experience on mobile and tablets, because one of the first devices now everybody has to access any information is really their mobile phone. So mobile had to be a first-class citizen. And it wasn't just going to be a first-class citizen, but he had to adapt to mobile. It wasn't a case where you had to get the lowest common denominator, but it had to be something where when you were mobile, you recognized it and it did the right thing, tablet the right thing, desktop the right thing, and that's exactly what IDEA does. Then the other thing was that we recognized that it also had to be adaptable, and then adaptability there meaning, according to your business, and the ability to be able to kind of go along with you as you grow. So let me go through this now, and then I'll show you exactly how we've achieved that. So this was a very clearly thought through. We thought about this a lot, like I said, right? These were some of the key criteria, or we might call it the job to be done, or the kind of things that needed to satisfy, which was how do you do more with less? And this is key. Cost is always a major issue. It wasn't a case of you wanted to expand your business. It wasn't a case of going to hire maybe 20 or 35 more people. It just didn't really work. It didn't scale out very well. And actually, most of our customers over the last few years, especially with COVID, have actually shrunk their operations, and yet they are doing a heck of a lot more. But not just more, they're doing it far more efficiently and with far less hassle. The controls and everything's in place. So margins are tight. So how do you increase your profitability? And that's key. Some of my colleagues, Wale, will also show you, at least in the OEMS space, some of the things we've done there with our IDEA platform, our IDEA Trader platform, how to increase your profitability while your cost structure continues to go down. Employees are now working remote. Even before COVID, in case of InfoWARE itself, we were already doing remote work, So, but now it's a standard thing. The idea that all employees are going to come back to the office is just a no-go. And with fuel price and everything that's going on, you guys know that. So how do you empower your employees to work remotely, but you still retain the control and the safety that you need, right? And that's built in already with our two-factor authentication, with the security, our TLS 1.3 that's unmatched, not just in Nigerian industry, but across the world, because we are ahead of the curve in that. Then how do you navigate the future and compete with fintechs and artificial intelligence? Because this is a challenge of the current day. People talk to customers are really worried about fintechs coming into their space. So we've kind of really done that. All our customers need to do is just work with us, and we become that fintech that showcase them to the world. And that's essentially what we've done with all the kind of new tools and products we've released with our IMD platform, IDEA Trader, IDB Trader, and Terminal, and all that stuff. You are ahead of fintechs. Quite frankly, the fintechs should be afraid of you, because really, I think from our last count, either all four, at least the top three of the fintechs in the capital market, they actually use the InfoWARE APIs, and that covers to work with the existing brokers, irrespective of whether they are what we call them now digital brokers or whatever. They're actually using InfoWARE APIs. So any of our customers that want to engage, whether you want to engage with an standard fintech or you want to really be ahead of the fintech world, InfoWARE has you covered already. Remember, the whole point of it was, what's the vision? What exactly do we deliver to our customers? And the last thing was, how do you reduce your operating costs? By only paying for what you need. And this is critical, because along the way, we learned from our customers that, when you're buying enterprise software, there's this massive investment you have to make, you have to put down, and it takes a while to recover it. But these days, we choose to go for the different way. And now our modeling, our entire licensing scheme is very, very simple. In short, you see one of the slides there, the lowest cost you can start with just, I think the calculation was about just 33,000 naira per user per month, 32,000, right? Anybody can start with InfoWARE. Okay, so that's the vision, right? What drove this. It wasn't just a case of going to do something for the sake of doing it. So now I've spoken to what drove InfoWARE to embark on this journey, right? Now, but the key was that it had to be focused on the customer. It had to be focused on the customer at all times. You who has attended this webinar. So what is the need for you? Which is the bottom line, irrespective of what we say, right? The bottom line. One, let's be very clear about this. This transition is hassle-free. And I think we've heard some comments about this. One, there is no implementation. Zero. The cost is zero, right? It's just like we do our regular updates. The update, boom, you're good to go. Two, there is no data migration. Again, zero. It gets installed, boom. A lot of number of people are already on the platform and using it. So it's not like you're going to be a guinea pig. And let's speak to that. There is zero downtime. You don't have to pause anything you're doing at all. Repeat, you don't have to pause anything you're doing at all. It just gets put there and your employees are up and running right away. You can run on a tablet, mobile phone, and desktop. We already said that. It is safer and more secure. We can provide more details and more context with these things as we go along. So let me speak to the next one then. Yes, one of the things I want to address also is that, look, we understand the industry quite right. Nobody wants to be a guinea pig, right? So what is the need for me, for you, the customer, in this case, not being a guinea pig? One, case studies. We've already deployed this thing to some of the largest banks in the country today. It's already deployed. It's already actually been in use for more than a year. In the OEMS space, if you're a broker, there's that. If you're an asset management, there's that. If you're loans, there's that. It's actually out there already and being used. So nobody's being guinea pigged in this thing. The underlying infrastructure is solid. It's essentially a three-tier architecture system in which the existing system and the old system, they coexist well. In short, you can be run, like I mentioned, a hybrid mode. Hybrid mode meaning we allow for a transition where you continue to, some of your staff might continue to, maybe sometimes you want to run that old application the way the desktop one, the way it is, and then gradually transition over to the IDEA ERP where you really need to be. Very little training required. Very, very little training, because menus, when you deploy the first time, they are going to be essentially, you see, they have an equivalence mapping That makes it very, very easy for the transition to happen. So next thing again, licensing. These are one of the things that is going to come up, right? And then again, what is the need for you, our customers? One of the key things we set out to do with this thing, apart from just the technology side of things, was to make this thing extremely simple brain dead, right? So our licensing is way more cost effective. I could show you at some point, the licensing structure. Some of you may have seen it already. It's very clearly detailed. Exactly what you get is very clearly detailed, and the cost per user is very clearly detailed. So it actually starts out with the base something in our SAS software service model. It actually started just at 3,000 per month, right? Even at today's ridiculous exchange rate, that's just $3 per year per month. So it's very, very simple to get started with. I mean, yes, people always worry, especially, we've heard this thing, especially the smaller customers saying, oh yeah, InfoWARE, you have all these big customers, you have standard, you have this, therefore maybe we can't talk to you. That's not true at all. We want to cater to all business types. It suits everybody. Key point to note here is more varied choices to suit all your business types, small, medium, or large, and you can transition between these license models. We don't stop you from moving upwards or even moving downwards as your business dictates. One of the key things we want to put there is transparency, and this is very, very important. We want to make it clear. You can make your decisions. You see, you're not being tricked. You see what it looks like. You go back privately, even without us being there. You evaluate it yourself. It's very easy. It's detailed, so there's no technical mumbo jumbo in it. It's not a lawyer thing. It's strictly simple. It's a business decision that you need to make. You look at it, make your own choice that suits you, and then we move on from there. Application support options. What is the need for you? Again, the focus from this thing, I want to reiterate this thing, is the customer, right? You, the customer. The focus is on it. I want to do that as many times as possible. So one of the areas we've seen some friction, quite a bit of friction, is this application support. What are you getting? What should you expect? It kind of means falls in our SLAs was there, but everybody gets lost. So we made it crystal clear. I think I have one of these. I don't know if I can actually take it this way and try and tab into that just to quickly show it. I think I can see it. So one of the things we've done, we actually have a CRM portal. And the CRM portal has been completely redesigned from the ground up. So if you log on to CRM portal, everything we're saying, remember what I said about transparency, you see everything there. So the application support options are very clearly stated. What you have is very clearly stated, so, and you can see everything that's there for you. And same for the licensing. So we'll be drilling into that a little bit more as we go along. Okay. The other thing to note is that from a licensing standpoint, application support is that it's decoupled from your licensing. Decoupling means that you can pick your licensing and you can choose the application support option that you want. Meaning, okay, if you're an enterprise and maybe you have your own internal employees that's highly skilled, fine, you can go for a much lower application support option, which is cheaper for you. We're also offering what do you call it now? Certifications. So you can bring in your own employees. They get not just be training, some people go and eat coffee and cookies and everything, don't do anything, but they'll take a test. We're going to have certifications. We actually have an online testing system now, even that we use in-house. And then they will verify, they get a certificate and verify that they are skilled. And then you can choose to go for a lower support option if you so choose. Again, transparency in the documentation and everything is there. Let's see. Okay, so next one, security. What is the need for you? Trying to be mindful of time here. So out of the box, it comes with two-factor authentication. Because this is now going to be primary mechanism for assessing it is the web. And everybody's always scared of the web and what happens because it could be accessible from anywhere, right? So two-factor authentication is not just something sending something to your email. This uses the standard authentication mechanisms, either on your Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. We did in such a way that it's zero cost. Usually, a lot of these big enterprises, they tend to have their own internal authentication mechanism, which can be very costly and quite frankly, less secure. So, but we, from the lowest to the highest customer, is part of the application. You don't have to pay extra for it. You just turn it on. Two-factor authentication. You require somebody with your phone to to get using Google or Microsoft Authenticator to get that code in time before they can sign in. So you can rest assured that no matter who's accessing your application, no matter from where they're accessing it, you have total control and security is 100% super. Security configuration matches or exceed the equivalent of Microsoft Active Directory. We work with a number of enterprise customers and proven this. So everything you may have, I don't know, depending on whether you know what Active Directory is, that's Microsoft authentication mechanism and is the most secure thing anybody can think about. Literally all enterprises use this, or literally all enterprises use this. And we've proven that our security internal actually match and exceed what Active Directory does. So again, we can provide more details if you want. The other thing is that we use TLS. By out of the box, IDIA ERP uses TLS 1.3. For the non-technical people, this might not make that much sense, but let's put it this way. 90% of the internet right now is on TLS 1.2. 1.2. We are already on 1.3. So you can rest absolutely assured that security from, in terms of people seeing or snooping the data, if you have security, of course, this financial data is secure, you are way ahead above everybody. And I'm not talking about Nigeria, I'm talking about the world. 90% of the entire world is on TLS 1.2, and we are already 1.3. So we go through this penetration testing and we've been vetted by international banks because they are already our customers. So again, just try and get through this quickly. Okay, so now here are the individual suites that we have. The UAMS, that's the UMS suite, execution and order management suite. We had one for PFM. I'll rush through this just very quickly because my colleagues are going to provide you more details about this. We have a unified trading experience, novice, professional investor, PFA, foreign investor, trader, sub-broker, all covered, all by the same interface and delivered anywhere in the world. The cost of delivering this is simple. Margin lending, market making, securities lending, derivatives, and a lot more. There's custodian trading. Everything you already know about InfoWARE and more, a lot more are available there. My colleague Wally will cover most of this. Then for portfolio and fund management suite, if this was redesigned, especially this one, right, it was designed from the ground up. And I want to just say that from the ground up, right? Everything, I mean, the user interface, you should be familiar. We didn't touch that, but the internals, how all of these things, the calculations are extremely accurate. You can use Excel or Bloomberg. If you have Bloomberg, you can use Bloomberg. You'll see they match one for one. We did a lot of work over the last 2 years to make sure all that was there. It supports T+0 and T+1 asset instruments concurrently. We're very proud of this, again, for people that know understand asset management, because most systems will support T+0 or T+1, or force you to choose one. In our case, you can actually have T+0 and T+1 instruments in the same fund, and they will all work with no interference. We have cash forecasting, we have support for multi-currency. You know, you can manage, you can have multi-currency dollar funds, totally 100% managing, including the assets being in dollars, and still be able to do mark-to-market automatically to your local currency. Then just a quick plug here. So what are we about? InfoWARE is really about enabling financial prosperity across the entire Pan-Africa. Like I said, we have customers across multiple countries. So mutual fund management, again, my colleague Kwame will cover this. Support for same-day subscription redemptions, public-private funds, seamless income distribution. It happens so seamlessly. Customer statement, EOD. You can have funds can be managed by different fund managers, and you can specify different, what is that called again? Different EOD timelines, so that they don't have to do their EOD at the same time. Each person is totally isolated in their own box, and everything works seamlessly. Customer tiers and MISEC requirements, fund analytics, we have all of that. Okay, then loan management. Again, we have a huge array of different stuff there. All the loan types are covered. We studied the industry to make sure we cover that. So I'm getting to a little bit of the end. So I said, let me do a little bit of some fun facts for everybody, right? The journey to IDIA ERP. We started around 2018 to 2020, and my key role is Chief Software Architect. It required a lot of research across the entire industry because, you know, there was always talk about the web, and the trouble with web technology is they come and go, and they were ephemeral, you know, flash of the day, but we made sure we were going to pick something that was going to be around for the next 10 years. Because enterprise software is not little kid stuff. It's something that people base their business on, and it had to be something that could stand the test of time. We did a lot of architecture design, framework design. I'm mentioning this in a way because these are the kind of things that people don't see. You know, they say, what's that thing called again? Sausage, making sausage, right? The end product is very, very delicious, but it goes through a lot of things to make it happen. we did a lot of prototyping. We created a 3, designed our own internal communication mechanism to enable all this suite architecture to happen. It had to be done in such a way that it had to be secure. You couldn't break from one tier to the other, all of that stuff. And then the first production stuff, we're looking at it since the actual first production coding started, first production checking, exactly on 20th of June 2020 is when the first thing started. Our release 0.1 that, and we're starting to use it in-house, was first release that we demoed internally to InfoWARE staff, because the dev team works isolated, 18th of May 2021. Flashback. It's kind of short way of how we got here. Okay. A little bit about InfoWARE. I mean, you guys already know InfoWARE, but just to put it in context, and this context is materially important to how you're operating, the stability of what you have, right? The reliability of what you have. Keep in mind, 7 out of the top 10 brokers use the InfoWARE platform today, and for the last 2 years, actually, 2021, and this is based on NGX data. You can go to the website, it's all there. 80% of the trades executed on NGX is done by InfoWARE platform. By now, I suspect it's higher than that, because this is 2021, 2022, right? We have an African coverage. We are certified by 4 exchanges. So whatever we're doing, right, it needs to match the kind of enterprise scale that we have. So I want you to roll your mind back to the things I've said so far, and then use this to put that in context, right? Okay, I think I have like a couple more minutes. So I'll just run through a few things here. Some of the things you guys already may be aware of. This IDEA Trader. The idea behind IDEA Trader is really to say, that unified user experience. The entire ecosystem is struggling. How do we present to the retail and professional investor and a situation that works? So we have the mobile app and the desktop app, all with a unified user experience. So we'll be having more conversations with a lot of our customers. This is the dashboard. Now, there's an aspect of this I would like to kind of point out, right? Which is this here. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit, right? So one of the things, this is not just about providing applications. And I don't know how many people have seen this. When your customer goes to IDEA and they click on this analyze portfolio, not only does it analyze their portfolio, keep in mind, it actually will look at their, this is real, right? And tell them, using our AI, artificial intelligence capabilities, give them the status, we'll call it a signal. Like in this time, access code is saying access code is a strong cell, and the signal makeup is 2 by 6 cells and 5 neutral. So they can actually see this. This is basically like their own personal advisory on their portfolio, remember, not generically now, but on their portfolio, to analyze their portfolio for them and then tell them exactly what to do about it. So this is the kind of thing we are going to be relaying out more and more to our customers, because see, for the OEMS guys, ultimately you want your customers to trade. That's how you make money. And then, from commission. Looking at a portfolio alone won't do it unless you show them what they should be doing. And that's what we're doing. We're going beyond providing software to actually encouraging trading. The market data terminal is there. So I'll just run through some of the screenshots that we have. When in the market data terminal, you can see this, for example. Let me highlight this. So the technical indicator here is just showing, it says, show you when you're looking at the stuff, is this a strong buy, a strong sell? And then if you expand it, you can see the signals. That's the customer. Now, you, the broker, you can use this, or your customers can directly use it. Get to see the signal and understand what they need to do, I think just, I know, Sandra, 1 more minute and I'll be done. So I just want to run through some of this stuff. This is the technical area. This is major. This is something, the reception to this has been totally overwhelming. We sent out a newsletter recently and we've been using ourselves in-house. We actually have an account, and it shows you when the stocks that are about to move up. There are multiple trading strategies and algorithms you can derive out of this thing. And like I said, the reception has been totally amazing, because we are also using it in-house ourselves. All of this, the ability to look at equity performance, and not just equity performance, detailed charting. Note that this is now available for your end users, for your customers. We haven't actually we want to integrate this into the EB suite and all that stuff, so that your customers can see these and be able to take action themselves, because this is the new world we live in. Right? This is the new world where the customers themselves are the ones doing this. So it caters to professional investors, to retail investors, and all classes. So news is there, they can have their own price alert triggers. and control exactly when the information comes to them. They can create their own simulated portfolio where they are not trading yet. They want to try it out, especially if you've done the analytics. You want to say, okay, what if I had bought this thing at this point? What would it have looked like? Then by trying it out, they can come up with their own algorithms and then use that now to actually do the trading. We have a trading blotter. The blotter is now for the professional guy. So if you're dealing with, say, if you're a broker and you're dealing with an asset management company or a foreign portfolio investor or a PFA, now they have this is like you, for the guys that do OEMs, like your own fixed premium out there, and they can see just their own CSS account numbers and what they are supposed to see, and they can do it in real time. So it's like you're giving them the full capability of a broker right there. It's a full terminal. You can move multiple screens around. It's web-based, even though it looks like a desktop app, it's actually web-based. So with that, I think I kind of run through what I'm doing. So Sandra, I think hopefully I made it up on time.
So thank you so much, Uwa, for that detailed introduction of what InfoWARE service offering is all about, from the security to the UMS business to the PFM business itself, and how the EDI ERP itself has been developed. And I am happy to hear that there are a lot of research, currently being put in to go ahead of the curve to provide solutions to our partners. So on the Q&A session, I have a couple of questions, and I'll just take like about 2, then so that we could move to the next panelist, then we could take other questions itself. Please confirm that you can hear me.
I can hear you. Shoot.
Okay. So the first question itself is talking about, we hear you when you mentioned about data security and TLS 1.3. So the question is, how does InfoWARE ensure data consistency and accuracy during the migration process? And what exact measures are in place to minimize potential disruptions itself?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. And that's why I try to address that even upfront in one of my slides. So the short answer is really that there is no data migration. That's what we did. So we basically made the application update the existing stuff and then just take it from there. Because we're very clear. I know that a while back, there was one bank that spent 2 years doing an upgrade. This is not it at all. So the reason why there's no data migration is that the new EDI ERP kind of layers on top of the existing one and just updates the appropriate and relevant portions, and then you can move forward from that. Remember what I said, that you can even run both of them concurrently to a large extent. And that was part of the design we made. It was a conscious choice and a conscious decision, because we know our ecosystem cost was always going to be an issue, and relative expertise was also going to be an issue. And we needed to take care of that using automation. So it's very, very AI driven. There's a lot of internal AI that we built into it to handle all of that. So our customers can rest assured there is just no issue at all whatsoever. And it's borne out by the fact of the people that are the existing customers that are using it. I'm sure some of them are probably on this webinar right now that are already using the EDI ERP.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Uwa, for that explanation. So the next question is, you spoke about pricing. I hear you talking about pricing. And there's a question that speaks to that particular segment of your presentation. And it says that, how does the pricing structure for EDI ERP compare to the desktop version? What factors should organizations consider when evaluating the cost effectiveness of this transition?
The cost is actually, at the end of the day, is going to be, we believe it's going to be lower, right? Because most of the time people are already doing more with less. If you look at our EBs, everything is kind of seamless now. You can do your onboarding, you can do most of these things online. We also want to make sure you can target diaspora Nigerians, because there's a lot of potential there, right? So there's so the cost, if your person is referring to cost, the transparency is there. You pick the licensing structure you have, because we used to bundle everything into just one cost. That's no longer the case. You have licensing, right? Then there's API usage. So if you're not using the APIs and you don't pay for that, right? And so everything has been broken down. And because it's been broken down, you can simply select what you want. And that's the key. If you select what you want, then the chances that your cost will be less. The other thing to notice is you can select what you want when you want. So don't pick anything you don't really want, so we don't have to get charged with. Then when you want it, add it. It's easier for everybody. It's just transparent. It's clear. The decision is so. Bottom line, the decision is always going to be the customer. We're not forcing anybody to pick what they don't want. We're not forcing anybody to do what they don't want. We're not forcing anybody to pay for what they don't want. You pick what you want, and then you take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Uwa. I think I'm happy to hear that customers now have choices. Like you said, they can pick what they want, when they want it, and how they want it implemented. I think that's literally the goal, of every business, to make sure that the return on investment is really high. So now we understand that the transitioning process might seem a little bit hard, for customers. Change, they say it's definitely hard. So in terms of the transitioning, I hear you speaking about a little about support. Though I didn't hear that in details. The question is, what training and onboarding resources are actually available to help users smoothly transition to this new IDEA ERP solution itself? Are there some sort of mechanism you've put forward? How are customers going to transition? It's a new platform itself. What exactly is InfoWARE proposing for customers?
Okay, so we have this new CRM portal, right? The application itself goes into that, and there's a lot of things in there already in terms of details, documentation, and all that stuff. The other thing we're going to do, we already have a training site that InfoWARE always have. We'll look at revamping that in such a way, adding more video training so people can do it. We're also looking at, especially for this transition period, holding more webinars. So it's a training webinars, and not like this one, but specific training webinars where customers can come in, various customers can come in, and they can go through the process. We have multiple product suites. So if we focused and dedicated, and remember what I said too, that we have one thing we're going to encourage a number of customers to also consider is having their own employees go through certifications, because it forces more learning to happen. So we've thought through this very clearly. That's the point I want to just make. So there's training that in terms of webinars and stuff like that we're going to organize for customers to acclimatize to it. There's a training portal that we have. There's a CRM portal that we've built already that has all this information. And then there's a certification process that we have. We even have a couple of that things. We have dedicated account officer support where somebody can even come on premise. Again, it's an option. We also have operations as a service that we're launching. Operations as a service is that, look, if you just decide that, look, you want to focus on customer acquisition, all this operation stuff, especially with their past syndrome, people coming and going, you can farm it up to InfoWARE. We have detailed processes, and we can have somebody just run the operations for you while you focus on other aspects, the real portion of your business, which is customer acquisition and customer management.
Okay. So I think that really answers the question. Thank you so much, Uwa, for this particular session. So I would like to actually call on the next panelist now. So quick introduction. So for the next panelist, Dr. Yemi Afonja, she is a senior consultant with InfoWARE. She is the head of the asset management business and support itself. Okay, kindly confirm that you can hear me. It's your turn to speak to us about how customers can future-proof their business with this transitioning process from the desktop ERP to the InfoWARE web-based ERP itself.
Hi, thank you, Sandra. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I can hear you, and yes, could you please stop sharing your screen so that I can share mine? All right. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Once again, and welcome. So basically, Uwa has actually done the honor of introducing our portfolio and fund management suites, some of the new features that we have on the application and enhanced feature. I know a couple of our customers are already used to the feature and some are new. So I'm just going to take this short time, I'm looking at my time, to give you a brief summary of some of the features that we have on our IDEA ERP, and we'll really look forward to you coming on board. So this is just an overview of our portfolio and fund management. You know, we have, if you're not aware, we have a portfolio and fund management suite that can help you manage your asset management and your portfolio and fund management end to end, and loans. So if you have interest in operating in that field, or maybe you already have a business you're trying to set up in order to be able to, you know, dive into the portfolio and fund management and loans management sector, you actually have InfoWARE ready to work with you on that. So we have full-blown compliance, risk management, and within the application, the compliance is the reports, and definitely ability to manage your customer end to end. So over time, majority of our customers always complain about the fact that on our desktop, you can only create customer, you know, there is no maker checker when you're creating customer. Once the user just go ahead to create them, that's it. So what we've actually put into place is to making sure that we create a maker checker for your customer management. For your customer creation, it goes through your maker checker, you know, a user, a lower hand user inputs, and while either your compliance or the another personnel gets to review and approve it. It's also when you're also editing customer information, you know, you don't want a situation whereby a single user can control everything regarding the customer, from the notification, you know, the transaction limits and the likes. So when you edit the customer information, it also goes through a maker checker. Another good thing is we've also embedded SEC tiering based system. I know Uwa made mention of that. And you know, when it comes to SEC, there are some regulation whereby you can have a tier 1 customer, tier 2, tier 3, and also you need to make sure that the transaction that those customer can do is in line with their tier level. Like when in your tier 1, there's a maximum outflow withdrawal you can do on the system. There's a maximum inflow you can do, you know, all those things. You don't need to worry yourself and start manually tracking the tier of customers so that you know how much to withdraw from their account. Once you're on board, and once you've the system has effectively set up their tier, when they want to do a withdrawal that's going to make, you know, true that's outside their own band, the system will flag and let you know that, hey, you can't make this withdrawal because this customer is in tier 1 and cannot do more than X, like 30,000. So that is in place on IDEA ERP. Another good thing about our portfolio suite is you can manage multi-currency, your USD, your Naira transaction, your British pound transaction. If you're into Ghana currency, you can manage it effectively across your entire financial suite and investments, from the likes of your fixed deposits, your treasury. You know, now dollar is getting, you know, because of the Naira currency, which is not really does not really have strength against dollar. Majority of investors are looking into investing in a foreign denominated currency, and you really want a system that you can use to manage those investments effectively, and not maybe one side and you have to go and do another side manually. No, if you're creating a fixed deposit product in a USD currency, you can manage that end to end. And for, you know, and another good thing is you can also mark those transactions to Naira, because when you're for your financial reporting, when you want to record your trial balance, you don't want a situation whereby you have to manually start converting USD to Naira in order to you know, tender your trial balance to your maybe your auditor or your board. So when you're transacting, the system can help you mark your foreign currency to Naira, and when you're generating your Naira trial balance, you're going to see Naira transaction and the translated USD to Naira transaction. And when you're generating a USD, you also get to see the USD full transaction and the trial balance. So we also help you support multiple asset classes, from your treasury to your bond to your Eurobond, and the system manage the basis as appropriate. So we have several multiple bases when it comes to your bond. There's the actual 360, actual 365, 3360 for your Eurobond. We have the Ghana basis. So depending on the kind of bond you're creating, the basis is there to guide you. So you can manage your equities on the system, your commercial paper, promissory notes, any kind of asset class you really want to manage, you can use the system to manage it. One good thing I know Uwa mentioned is ability to manage your investment accruals, either using T+0 or T+1. T+0 really means that when you do a purchase today, you want the accrual to eat your books today, so that when you're generating your trial balance, you get to say that, oh, now I have an accrued interest of 1,000 on this investment. So, but what that means is that if I'm accruing on T+0 on the purchase date, then the system is not going to accrue on the maturity date again. So the last accrual stops on a date before the maturity date for a T+0 investment. And a T+1 means that, okay, I don't want the valuation to start on the purchase date. I want the valuation to start the next day. So by the time you do your valuation or your monthly run, the accrual on that investment is going to impact your financials on the next day. And what that means is that the accrual will stop on the maturity. So basically, that's the difference between a T+0 investment and a T+1 investment. And over time, some systems can either stick to T+0 or T+1, but depending on your workflow, internal workflow, or business workflow, you can even separate the investments. You can say, this investment, I want you to be T+0. This investment, I want you to be T+1. And the system would autonomously manage each one of them without really mixing them up. So that's one of the key strengths of the accruals on the system. Another thing we introduced on InfoWARE ERP is ability to manage your products using different branch code. So if you're familiar with our investment, so let's say you have a fixed deposit product, a product A, and you have different branch code, majority have head office. So let's now say over time, you now want to create another product, but you want it to report in another book of accounts. So let's say you want to create another branch code and say that all the transaction that this product B is going to be doing still under fixed deposits, you want it to be reporting to this book of accounts. Prior to now, when you do that, you can't actually do that. No matter the number of products you create under fixed deposit, everything still reports to your default branch code, which is maybe your head office. But on these new products, you can actually create multiple products, create multiple book of accounts, and everybody will fit into their own book of accounts. So you can generate the trial balance of this product without mixing it with the trial balance of the other products. So that's one of the key features we've actually implemented on our IDEA ERP. Another good thing is fixed deposit placements. We over time, you know that when you're booking fixed deposit with your counterparty, they get to decide how they want the breakage to go on. So you can say that, hey, I want to break 1 million from my 10 million that I'm booking with you. A counterparty can say, okay, I can give you 1 million. Then that's it. Another one will say that, okay, I'll give you 1 million and the accrued interest on this 1 million because that's how their own system works. Another one will say, no, I'll give you 1 million and the accrued interest on the 10 million. So that by the time you're coming at maturity, you're going to get the accrued interest on 9 million. So because you can't control how your counterparty would want to manage the breakage, then it became an issue for our customers because one can go via a route A, the other one via route B, and they have to start, liquidating, doing all those sort of things over just one investment. So what we've done is to modify the placement module such that depending on the route your counterparty wants to go, you can effectively manage your breakage based on that, and you don't need to start liquidating or reinvesting the investments. Then one thing these are InfoWARE bond. I can tell you that if you're used to InfoWARE bond management prior to now, then yeah, I feel with you. I can understand your plight because about 2 years ago, our bond management was not really what it should be. But for the past 2 years, we've been working in-house to make sure that the entire bond management is 100% accurate. You agree with me that bond is one of the most complicated asset class that you have within the capital market space. So, from the different bases, different coupon payments and the like. So what we've done is we went back to the ground zero to work on our bond model from the scratch. So we changed our entire accrual workflow. We now use something called accrued INT. So it's an Excel function that you can even checkmate what InfoWARE is computing and putting into your books against what you can accrue manually using Excel. And when you're doing your purchase, you can confirm what InfoWARE is about to post into the system, even against Bloomberg. So 100% our bond management from the purchase to the accrual, to breaking your investments, and to the what's it called? When you're doing accrual, if you have a premium discount, you have to amortize that. If you're fair valuing your bond, you have to make sure you have to mark it to market, then to the liquidation. So everything from your purchase to end to the liquidation of the bond management, you can rest like it's something that when you book on the system, you can be rest assured that whatever the system is posting and putting into your books is 100% accurate, which you can also confirm when you do a manual computation. So if you come on board on IDEA ERP, I can tell you that bond management from Eurobond to your normal state bond, federal bond, and the likes, any kind of bond bonds, And because the basis determines how the bond accrual will go to. So we support different bases, and you can actually configure your bond based on those bases and the cycle. Then another cool thing is our bond coupon payment. When it comes to the asset management, we have the liability side, which means as a customer, you can help me invest in fixed deposits, in your treasury bill, in your bond, in your euro bond as a customer. Then as a customer, as a company, which is the proprietary part of it, or as a fund or portfolio, you can also manage those investments out there. So there's like a challenge between our liability and our assets. Although there's a place where we can help you bring them together if you're operating in space of a portfolio fund where there's the liability that is translating to the assets that you're booking, and you just want to see the spread between those products. So that can be done, but in and out of itself, they are separated. There's like a wall between them. So we have automated bond coupon payments that allows you to you don't need to manually start tracking when your bond coupon is due. The system, once the expected coupon schedule has been saved on the system, so that's when you create a bond instrument, you save the coupon schedule, and you can always buy and sell from the bond. So the system looks at your coupon schedule and triggers anytime a coupon is due the expected coupon amount. So you can either tell the system, post it directly into between my receivable and my bank, or between the payable and the customer account if it's a liability, or no, I want you to generate a GL batch for me. Let me review and approve. So the system will send a notification to you, give you the batch number that, okay, I've helped you to generate a batch. This is it. Go and review and approve. So that's also one stress that we've taken away from our customer. The quarterly fee accrual management, as majority of our customers have this what they call portfolio management, and they want to accrue management fee on those portfolio. Prior to now, when you're accruing management fee, the system debits the accounts every day, one by one, and you don't want a situation whereby you print out your customer statements and the customer is seeing debits every day. So now what we've done on this new system is we created an entire new module for that process, and you can configure the customer that fits into the quarterly fee accrual management, and every day when the run is done, the system accrue on them and puts it into a table. The system track it. So, you could say that, oh, when the customer is about to do withdrawal, how does the system know that, oh, there's an accrual that is meant to, that has been accrued, there's a fee that's been accrued on the customer account, so that the user will not be able to withdraw more than that. So let's say I just did, I have a balance of 1 million in my account, but there's a management fee of 10,000 that has been accrued. So when you go, the user goes to the payments module to say, hey, the customer wants to collect 1 million, the system will block you to say, hey, you cannot withdraw 1 million because there's the 10,000 that has been accrued, but because it's not yet at the end of the quarter, the customer cannot, it's not debited in the customer's account. So based on that, the system will block you to say, hey, you actually can't do this. So that is fully implemented on our InfoWARE ERP. So just breezing through, because I'm looking at time, I think I've gone through my time. Yeah, we have a full-blown risk management model in the system that you can use to track your counterparty exposure, your asset allocation. You really need it, especially if you're doing portfolio and fund management because of SEC regulation. So you have your pre-trade simulation that allows you to do like a what if. So you first of all go to the module, input the trades you want to go and do in the market, and check, am I still within my counterparty exposure? Am I still within my asset allocation? Am I going to bridge my allocation or not? If yes, let me go and meet my compliance so that I can justify the reason why I want to bridge. All those, because if you go into the market and go and buy and you're not coming back to the system to execute the transaction, the system will block you from consummating the transaction because you're about to exceed the risk management that has been set. So you can use the InfoWARE portfolio and fund management to manage any kind of funds, from your cash to fixed income, dollar fund, and you can effectively manage your fee. One good thing about our dollar fund is that you can manage this, you can use the same basis across the entire dollar fund management. From the underlying investment, you can make them 30/60 for the accrual basis. For the fees, that the fee expense on the fund, you can also make that computation 30/60 across the entire lifestyle. So our basis is full blown. You can determine the basis of your portfolio. We have effective mark to market. We don't have a system whereby you have to manually compute the mark to market on your equity or your bond and then start posting into the system. No, once your prices are up to date, because you have to update your price on the system, then when you run your valuation, automatically the system will mark it to market and post it into your fair value GL. Automated EOD, I know I made mention of that you can automate your EOD per fund at their respective time. And another good thing about our end of day run is that there are some checks there that you can't go wrong when you're running your valuation. Like, let's say you book a placement and you're yet to approve it. The EOD will tell you that, hey, there's a placement that you're yet to approve. Go and approve before you come and run EOD. So also, if you are doing an equity-based fund and you've not yet uploaded your fee, your equity fee for mark-to-market or even for bond, it will tell you that, hey, you don't have a fee yet, go and upload your fee before you go ahead and do your run. And the system will tell you the time is going to take to run everything, and the final time is going to take that it took the system to do your valuation. I can tell you for a fact that no matter the amount of transaction you have within the fund, you cannot use up to 2 minutes to run your end of day. I remember doing one of my implementation, and a user, there were some mistakes. There are some posting that was meant to be done that were not done, and they had to do reversing and rerunning end of day. And somebody made a comment that, had it been InfoWARE end of day, is like the other system end of day, whereby when you do end of day, you have to go and sleep, eat, come back, wake up before the thing finalized. Then nobody would make a mistake, because InfoWARE made, it's like you made something so easy that they can. It's also allowing them to make some mistakes of not doing what they are meant to do, because within a click of a button, you can do your reversal. You can reverse your end of day and rerun it under 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, I can reverse within 1 minute, rerun within 2 minutes, check my valuation. If I'm good, I'm good. If I'm not, I can go back, reverse it, rerun it, and with no hassle. So reason through, we have the ability for you to redeem a portion of the interest. The reason why this is important for money markets is, when you're doing payments for your customer, and there's the transaction charge that you don't want to remove from the principal. So when you're doing the redemption for your money market, you can actually redeem the transaction part from the interest. Prior to now, you can only redeem the principal from your money market, but now you can redeem the principal and a portion of the interest and take it as a transaction charge, and you'll be fine. We support a full day same-day subscription and redemption. So what this implies is, you don't want your customer to put their money in cash, in their bank that is not yielding as expected interest for them. So you can tell them that, bring your money. You'll be able to redeem and subscribe and redeem the same day. I'll give you higher return, and there's no minimum holding charge when you're about to redeem from the fund. So you can bring your money today, get your interest today, tomorrow remove parts of it. So it forms like a savings account, but it's actually a fund that gives higher return from them. We have seamless income distribution and dividend distribution for your fixed income fund, and full-blown fund analytics. What is the essence of inputs without outputs that will guide your investment decision? So our fund analytics is something that we've invested so much time on, from reports to notification to dashboard. It's help you manage your investments effectively without you really, breaking the bank or stressing yourself about it. Okay, so apologies, Sandra. I know I will be on my time. So thank you. And I think that those are the summary key features that I actually want to inform our partners, so that they are they actually know what InfoWARE has been up to, and the features that InfoWARE is offering in order to manage their business operation effectively. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Octave, for that detailed deep dive into the portfolio and fund management side of the InfoWARE business. There were a lot of things that were said, and I think my key takeaway from that, which I would also like you to say one or two things about, and I think I have a question towards that. So you had mentioned that something about Excel and InfoWARE system itself with Bloomberg equivalent, right? I think what you were trying to say was about InfoWARE being able to capture expressions, right? So there's a question, can you in summary just explain what that is for our partners?
Okay, so actually that Excel is broken into two. There is the bond computation, whereby when the system is computing the expected interest for your bond, then you can actually confirm the computation that the system is doing again Excel, because you know InfoWARE Macro is wrong. No, well, compute this in Excel and take a look at it. Then the other one is the expression, is that there's sometimes that when you want to do a posting on the application, you're not doing, this posting is VAT on this amount, then you now have to go to Excel to start saying 1 million multiplied by 7.5 divided by this and this. And by the time you now get that is when you now go into the info application to start computing it. So on the application, there's a new feature of what we call expression. So the expression, I can do equal to 1 million multiplied by 7.5, and the system will help you compute this and give you the expected results. So you don't need to start traveling from Excel to application. Right from there, you can actually manage your expression computation when you're doing your posting.
Okay. Okay. I think I do understand that, and I hope that our partners also understand that. So another quick question. Can you explain the integration capabilities? I hear you talking about integrations that InfoWARE is able to integrate with this, the risk management itself, and all of that. So can you quickly explain the integration capabilities of the IDEA ERP solution with other third-party software applications itself that are commonly used in business, either payments, integrations, whatever the integration is? Because I want to believe that the InfoWARE solution itself is highly customizable and flexible. So how does this integration itself work with the new IDEA ERP?
Okay, so the truth of the matter is, when it comes to integration, you can be rest assured that you're covered. So because we've done integration with several third party, from payment gateway, just like you said, Flutter with InterSwitch, to CSCS integration, you know, to some other third party integration for equity prices. So when it comes to integration, as long as your third party that we're about to integrate with is ready, and you know, they have the expected API platform APIs, sorry, that we can integrate with, then we're good to go. So IDEA ERP is there for you. It's easily integratable. You don't have this, you don't need to go to the stress of managing in separate solution when it comes to you managing using IDEA ERP, then using another third party, or manually fetching data from them and imputing on the application. So when it comes to integration, as long as the third party you want to integrate with has the ready-made API that we can help you, we can consume on your behalf, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you, Okbe. It's good to know that InfoWARE, the IDEA ERP, can actually integrate with other third-party applications.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think I have two more questions before I hand over to the next panelist. Again, we are trying as much as possible to make sure that this webinar is quick and very fast, so that we do not keep us on this call. So the next question is, in terms of the migration again from the desktop ERP, I hear you about a lot of features that InfoWARE have, and I want to believe that these features itself transcend to the IDEA ERP, right? And it begs the question in, can you share insights on the timelines, you know, and maybe like the steps involved, that's if you're comfortable with it, in a typical upgrade process of this IDEA ERP? So from maybe planning to full implementation, just with like a quick summary. You don't have to do like a deep dive into it.
Okay. So, you know, when it comes, I believe you're going to be interested. Well, when you have the interest in deploying IDEA ERP, you don't need to bother. You know, you don't need to stress yourself. There is no business requirement. Start doing implementation timeline. Let's start doing this. All those ones, we've actually taken the headache away from you. All you need to do is just indicate your interest to our business to say, hey, I would like to move to, I would like to onboard on the to be onboarded on the IDEA ERP. You send a mail to them, and please, if you're interested in the authentication, remember, I made a mention of integration with Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. If you're interested in the two-factor authentication, please indicate while sending the mail so that that can be incorporated in your deployment. So, and our deployment takes maximum of 5 working days. So if you make a request on Monday, be rest assured that by Friday you're going to get a link to the IDEA ERP, and you don't need to change anything. Your username and password is still the same. So, and the permissions you have access to is still the same. So don't think that by the time we onboard on IDEA ERP, all those permissions you've given to user A, then you have to start. No, everything you have in your database remains the same, everything to the configuration. So the only thing you need is the URL link to access the IDEA ERP, your username and password. And if you're integrating with Google Authenticator, you need to first of all register. We're going to give you the step when we're replying, giving you the final URL link to integrate with your authenticator. Then put your username and password, put your token from your authenticator, and you're good to go. So yeah, to answer your question, it's going to take a maximum of 5 working days.
Okay.
So to do the deployments.
Okay, thank you, Okbe. So you had mentioned that the deployment will take maximum of 5 working days. I want to believe that this integration itself is not going to cause any form of business disruptions to partners.
100%.
Okay, that
no. Remember what said that you can even currently run hybrid, like you can run desktop and run IDEA ERP side by side. So there's no disruption, nothing. You won't even notice that anything is going on. It's just by the time you just start doing, like, you'll be like, oh, you're done. Yes, we're done. So it's not going to cause any disruption.
Okay. One last question before I call on the next presenter. As the head of the asset management business, we understand that you've interacted with a lot of our partners. You've seen a lot of case studies, right? A lot of things has been shared with you, and you've provided consultation to some of our customers itself. In just one word, basically, right? Can you just tell us what are the major advantages of migrating to the EDI ERP? When I started earlier, I had stated that change is hard. Do you understand? Yeah. Anybody, whether as a business or as an individual itself. So what are the major advantages of migrating in terms of accessibility, collaborations with other platforms, and the remote work capabilities? I know during Noah's presentation, he has mentioned, COVID happened. Nobody ever believed that we are going to be sitting in the house right now, webinar. So, but based on we are migrating to a fully web-based platform, which is like a concern to a lot of people. What is the major advantage to our partners?
So see, the advantage is actually numerous, from the infrastructure to the core business operation. So what I mean by infrastructure, there's the security bits, the two-factor authentication that Uwa made mention. There's a data security. Then, when COVID happened, remember, majority of our customers could not even access the RDP. So it was very slow because they had to, first of all, connect to their VPN before accessing the application. For the EDI ERP, you don't need to do that. Once you just launch your, just go to your browser, key in your URL either on your tablet or your laptop, you're good to go. Then from the business perspective, I can tell you for a fact, one of the, the EDI ERP is one of the things you're really looking forward to. Let me put it that way, because the way the workflow are outlined on the modules, you can actually see your respective workflow without you thinking of, hey, where can I do X, where can I do Y? Because everything is outlined from booking to approval, breakage, liquidation. Another good thing is you need it for, especially if you're doing asset management, if you have bonds that you're managing, you really need to upgrade to the latest platform in order to effectively manage your bonds. You need that. You don't want to start looking for one error or two cover that is missing, you are using the previous solution. And then our end of day run, the automation, the flexibility to run it in little or no time, and you getting your valuation results in no time. Those things are important for you to use. So if you're doing fund management, please, you need to onboard. If you're doing asset management, just fixed deposit, treasury bill, bond, and the likes, you need to onboard, because the latest platform helps you to effectively manage your underlying investment without any hassle.
Okay, thank you so much, Okbe. I know I've said a lot of thank you so much, and this is my final thank you so much to you. Thank you again for this detailed presentation.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yes. So the next panelist is our General Manager, Technical Services, Omowale Babagbemi. I know he has actually interacted with a lot of our customers, and some of us, this will be the first time they are seeing him, Omowale is the head of the EOMS business, and he will be giving us like a deep dive into his own presentation, what the EOMS business is about, the new EDI ERP, and all of that. Omowale, please kindly confirm that you are ready for us.
Yes, I am ready.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking out time for this presentation of the EDI ERP. Okay, so my colleagues have spoken about the EDI ERP, and also we've gone into the solution specific, which is the area of portfolio and asset management. But I know some of us on the call, we are broker dealers, and we kind of use the what we call the order and execution management system solution for our business operations. So I'm just going to go quickly over some of the major highlights on this EDI ERP, and then we'll go straight into a brief presentation, demo of the app. Okay. So this the agenda. We're going to look at key features and also do like a brief overview of the platform and its associated apps. Some of them have been mentioned during the course of presentation, but I will show you and you can see them live as well. Okay, so for brokers, what are things that you need to know, keeping it simple? Just like my other colleague have said, there are a couple of features, over the last 5 years, there's been a lot of R&D and a lot of, development going on. So we don't want to bore you with too much details, but what are the key highlights that you can take away from this session? Number one, which I'll just say importantly, is the advanced API capabilities and using the platform API and EMXS for more partnership and business leveraging. Now, the world is getting more and more connected, right? And it's difficult to have one single system that can do everything, for business. There's a need to scale out and there's a need to reach out to more, businesses and all of that. And one of the things a platform needs to have is to have rich APIs that allow you to extend the application capabilities and also for you to draw more insights. So one of the advancements of the EDI ERP platform is the enhanced API for integration. So more API stack have been added, more integration for developers is being made very easy to interact with the platform API. This allows you to be able to, build more application and more analytical systems that you might need in-house to enhance your overall user experience. Also, the EMXS API is a new API on the EDI ERP platform that is specifically designed for fintech, right? So, and one of the feature sets of the EMXS API is to allow you to limit the fintech access to only the data of their client only. So let's say, for example, you have like a fintech and they kind of want to bring business to you for people to trade through your platform, and you want to give them API. Now, most of our competitors, they'll give you an API that probably expose your other customers, right? But with EMXS API, it's layered on top of the platform, and they can only have access to their clients in a secure way and still be able to do everything across it. I'm going to demo the EDI Trader, which is built on the EMX API, so you can see, the capabilities that you can, fintech can achieve building on top of the EMXS API. Second, quickly, is the derivative. Now, one of the new changes going on in the markets in the last 1 or 2 years has been the area of derivatives. We used to equities, bonds, and other things, but derivative is fast coming. The index launched the index futures a couple of, a year ago, and then there's a plan also to bring in single stock derivative. Now the system is ready for that as well, so you can trade on the EDI ERP, you can manage and trade derivatives on the platform. Also, there's the optimized CSS KYC account opening. Now, one of the things important is for broker is ability, how fast do you onboard customers? Over the years, a lot of people have been complaining at the turnaround time to onboard customers, on something. It takes more than 48 hours to get a customer on board. Now, with the optimized CSS integration built into the EDI ERP, we basically leverage on the new API provided by CSS, and also with the EDI ERP platform, accounts can now be opened in 5 minutes, right? It's that fast. So that means that customers can have a better experience and they can quickly do business as opposed to the old turnaround time of, God knows. And there's no need to copy information across. They submit the request from online, push it directly to the CSS for execution. So it has also been optimized. So for some of you, you have it already, but it's been optimized for greater responsiveness. Enrich trader experience for traders and clients with more research analytical. So this always shared with us the other insights. I'll just show a sneak peek. I won't talk much about it, but one of the challenges for traders and clients is ability to draw insights. from the platform. Most of the time, people have market data. They just give you market data, go and do whatever you want to do with it. But a lot of people don't go to CIS or go to any investment school to even know what this thing is all about. So our developers have been thinking, how can we speak language that people can, an average, man on the street can understand and take decision. So I'm going to show some of it. I don't want to take much of our time. I'll show you, then you can experience it yourself. Also, more intuitive analytics on EDI ERP. The EDI ERP has a lot of intuitive analytics just to help you, with your workflow as well. Great user experience, effective workflow. I'm going to show you now on the user experience area. One thing is that during the COVID, prior to COVID, a lot of people were working in the office, and office internet was really, was okay because the application was running, and most offices invested in good internet. But when people needed to work from home, it became a challenge because you have to make do with your dongle and your modem and all of that. And most network providers don't actually live up to expectation. So it's for some clients on premise, it became a challenge, trying to run the application and going through all kind of VPN and all of that. So with this EDI ERP is a fully web-based application that has been highly optimized for low latency environment. So which means that your internet, it tries to optimize the internet experience so that no matter the internet you have, it tries to make do with it. Although you still have to have a good internet, but in terms of the demand from the old platform, which is the desktop app, you now have a more optimized experience. Okay. The platform still remains the same. Here's the overall view for those that are not familiar with the EOMS, the order management system. Here's the overall structure of it. You have the order management, execution management, customer relationship management, online portal, and you have the various risk management built into the platform. Okay, so we just look at it briefly. So one of the things about trading is that the trading is the most important part of the operation, and you want to be able to understand, how's this going to work, right? So the EDI ERP has more interface that provides you the trading capability. So you can trade on the web using the platform that's provided for you. Also, you have an API, which I've mentioned, which means that you don't have to rely on using her app. If there's other partners, probably you have, let's say, you have some asset management company and you think that they want to be able to trade themselves. They want to plug in their platform so that they can do their necessary risk management check before they send the trade to you. Everything is available for them. Also, if they also require an online trading platform, which will allow them to be able to trade by submitting the trade themselves, you can also provide such capabilities. So these are various options available for you as brokers to be able to execute your trade. Now, the feature sets that you have still remains the same for those that are already familiar with the current InfoWARE platform, the desktop. So these features you have already part of it. However, some have been enhanced, right, to give more capabilities. So I'm not going to go into the details sake of time. The commission management, for example, allows you to use the trade channel to be able to determine, the commission. So in terms of incentivizing your clients to be able to do more online by themselves and not having to, rely to the back office and sending their orders, you can configure the system to do dynamic commission for them based on the trade channel. And these are some of the capabilities, built into the platform. So I won't go into it, but when we have one-on-one session with you, we can dwell into the specifics of the EOMS platform. Okay, so I'm just going to do a brief platform overview while we can move on. Okay, so quickly, a lot of people ask, what is this EDI ERP transitioning? What is this transitioning all about? You've been hearing a lot of talks about transitioning and all of that. I think some of you are already familiar with this interface. I think those of you hosted on InfoWARE platform already, you're already familiar with this interface, and its behavior. It has been being a good friend over the years, but it's time for us to now transition, you know, to a more better platform. So the transition we are saying now is that we are transitioning from this, right? And we are moving to this platform. So here's the IDEA, here's the IDEA ERP platform. As you can see, it's a web-based. And some of the key features which I'll just quickly highlight are the two-factor authentication. So the security of working from home, like I said, it's available on the web, and the security of working from home is very paramount. In as much as we want to, yeah.
I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm seeing just a single screen. The screen that you have your brief platform demo and overview.
Okay.
I think you're the only one. I'm seeing the EDI ERP, which is about to log into.
Okay, that's changed now. Thank you, Okwe.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. So one of the things about working from home is security. In as much as we want to create flexibility, you know, you want this, security is very important. And our development team have looked at how do we deliver this without over-laboring, you know, the use of VPNs and all of that, and which would probably slow down, and we are back to where we were. So the platform, as mentioned earlier, has what we call the two-factor authentication. So for now, if I'm trying to log in, the system blocks me from logging in. So I have to use my device by entering a code before I can now, one of the advantages of this also is that the platform links that code to your profile. So you can't use my token, and I can't use somebody else's token. So I just enter this and click submit, and then the application verifies my OTP as well. Okay, so that's one of the security platform. Now, just to speak quickly to what everybody has been saying on the EDI, you know, EDI ERP. So here's the platform. You can see very fast. You don't have to launch the desktop, you know, like the desktop thing. For those of you familiar, you have to wait for your internet to buffer. You can see how fast it's responding, you know, and all of that. So you have all of the functionality earlier mentioned. We only touch on a subset, which is the brokers and the portfolio and fund managers, given that the majority of our partners are that business segment. So you have the various modules. So this is the brokerage module, which I mentioned, and some of the features, like I mentioned earlier, are the analytics. So, for example, you have a pending approval, you get to see, you know, what is pending and what is approved. So, one of the things also mentioned is the learning. You know, I think I heard one of the questions, which is like, how do we quickly onboard on this platform? So the development team have put all of this into consideration, that change is difficult, you know, not every change sometimes puts us on the edge, and we don't want you to be here because we want life to be a lot easier, not more difficult. So for you upgrading as brokers, be rest assured that the interface is exactly the same as what you're already familiar with. So what this means is that you don't have to relearn the application, right? By just launching it, clicking on any of the interface, you simply just go ahead, and the functionality allows you to continue to work. So those clients we've upgraded from the desktop to clients, it's just been seamless, you know. So the training is kind of next to zero. However, we believe that the training is still required because some of the capabilities and functionalities and all of that are not visible in the UX, as you can see. So you have to, you know, understand, you know, what are the new capabilities and how you can take advantage of it all. So that's on the EDI ERP. One other thing about the EDI ERP, which is very, you know, good, which I have to just mention, is the ability, the customer support, which is built into the application, right? So right now you can click here, click on customer service portal, and automatically you can create your support request. So this makes it easier, faster for you as a user to be able to interact with the support team and log your request and track and your progress of the resolution. Okay. So quickly going back, like I mentioned, this was mentioned earlier in the opening, which is the area of analytics for you as a trader. The EDI ERP platform is coming with a web-based trading platform. I know some of you are already used to the fixed premium terminal and all of that. So the EDI ERP is coming with its own web-based trading platform, as you can see. But one important thing is not just the web. No, that's not what is important. It's the insight you as a trader you get to see about the market, leveraging on AI. We all know that the next generation platform is artificial intelligence, right? If you are not keen into it, you are living in the old era. So one thing the system will do is to proactively look at the market and try to give you insights as a trader, not just for you to trade, but at least you know what the technical analytics is saying, and then you can blend it with your fundamental analysis as well. So these are much more enriched, capabilities that's going to be built, into the platform, all working together with the EDI ERP platform. Lastly is the EDI Trader, which I'll speak to. This is specifically designed for clients. This is the new, we call it the next generation e-business. I know for some of you, you're already familiar with the e-business application, which is used part of the old platform. Now, this is the next generation e-business suite, which is not just an e-business suite that's just to place trade. We know system place trade. We are all aware of that, but can this do more for me? And this is like a customized view, which was mentioned earlier, that is like every customer of yours now have an analyst, right, to themselves that kind of look at them and give raw advisory and data to them and even the advice. So with this, your clients can themselves be empowered to interact with the market a lot more. So the EDI ERP is going to provide more and more of these AI capabilities that will allow your client to be able to leverage and not just being able to place trade, but being able to understand what they are doing while placing the trade. So I don't want to, I know it's been 25 minutes, but so I'll just keep it here and then I'll respond to any question. Thank you very much for the
time. Thank you so much, Wale, for that demonstration of the new EDI ERP itself. I can see that there are a lot of feature sets that are available on the platform. So we'll just quickly dive into the questions that we have. So the first one is, you have spoken about support, the self-service portal, right? So how can organizations determine which support category aligns best with their specific needs and objective itself? Right, I can see that during Wa's presentation, he had shown the different support category, and during your presentation also, you have spoken about the customer service portal and how this set of customers can have access to different things on the portal itself. So please, can you give insight to that?
Okay, all right, thanks. So in terms of determining your support categories and all of that, there are some certain criteria that's going to be in use, right, to determine that. So first of all is to look at the modules you are subscribed to. So if you look at the new framework, it's look at the operating environment. So you have to basically look at what are the modules that you're doing. Let me give you a classic example. The derivative, for example, is not is a bit more advanced than the equity trading, for example. And because of that, the support will be structured differently because of the sensitivity and of what that thing requires. So the modules that you subscribe to, because the platform has so many modules, and Some of them are a bit more sophisticated. I think you heard when Opeyemi, for example, was mentioning PFM features, bond, and all of that. So they are not just something. So that will be put into consideration. Also, another consideration is to look at the number of users. How many users are going to be supported, in the platform, and also what is the business expectation. For example, if you're going to be doing a lot of integration, you might not have so many features, but you have a lot of integration, a lot of touch points that needs to be carefully supported, because you have too many touch points. So these are considerations that would be made, alongside you to make that recommendation for you, what fits your business and be highly optimized for the best experience.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Just now you had spoken about customer user licenses and all of that. On the new IDIA ERP, how does it work in terms of the licensing, the user licensing itself?
Okay. The user license, the licensing has been broken down into different what we call categories or bouquets, depending on what you functionality, right? So there's a naming convention we've used to make it easier for people to be able to relate to it. So you have, for example, the basic licensing category, which is tailored to somebody starting out, or maybe somebody with a very simple set of operations. Maybe you create customer, you job, and you don't have a lot of advanced features. Just keep it basic, just like the name says, basic. Then also you have some licensing that has like professional. So professional is like you are now more you're into more things as a broker, then, or maybe as a fund manager. Then the last, I think, of the bouquet is what we call the enterprise. Now the enterprise means that you are now a full-fledged. That means that you're using all the capabilities and all the features, you're more like across the entire solution in terms of use. So this, depending on your business, determines the licensing that it will be appropriate to support that business expectation.
Okay. So we hear you. The next question. So during your presentation also, you had shown the IDIA trader and you stated the capabilities of the IDIA trader. So now for customers who are currently not onboarded on the IDIA trader, what is the unique differential capabilities from the current online trading platform that they have?
Okay, so as I mentioned in my presentation earlier, so if you ask me unique, because the business of trading, for example, is just place an order, send it to the broker executes, and that's fully automated at this point. But one of the challenges that have been in the market, based on our experience and interaction with all kind of investors, from Gen Zs to the more advanced traders, has been like, how do you draw up insights about this market? There are over 400 securities on the NGX alone, and as newbie, as first timer, it's very difficult to even know where to go. It's like too many directions. So one thing IDIA trader is looking at is not to just cater to the advanced or people that know what they are doing, is to look at also people that are new, because of there's a need to bring in more new entrants into the market. So we are looking at advancing, educating, and also giving a lot of insights. So if you look at the IDIA trader, for example, you'll see the system trying to understand what you are trying to do. What's your interest? If you're coming to the market for the very first time, what do you want? Do you want to buy high dividend stock, or do you want capital growth stock, or do you want real estate, or you want, Islamic stocks and all of that? So he asks you those questions, trying just like an analyst would have done, but for you to have an analyst that will cater to 10,000 customers, that's not visible, right? So you have to, be able to use AI to be able to determine, what each customer would like. And then basically the system tries to understand the customer. And just like we presented earlier, the portfolio, after you buy your stocks, a lot of customers don't even know how to manage their stocks. They just buy the stock, leave it there, and then the price goes against them and they complain and all of that. So apart from sending the weekly portfolio evaluation report, which is just like, okay, take this information, do whatever you want to do with it, the system is now taking it one step further by educating them and telling them that, okay, this is what I think you should do. Now, these are just recommendations, and nobody has the crystal ball, or else we would have become billionaires and millionaires to know when to time the markets. But it's just a way of educating the end users so that the market sophistication can be enhanced as we go ahead.
Okay.
So that's one of the major unique features of the EDR trader.
Okay. So thank you, Wale. One more question, I think. So still speaking of the EDR trader itself, from what I hear you is basically for the retail investors itself. And considering that the world is like, it's not like anyway, the world is a global market, right? There are a lot of things that are happening in the market right now. There are new people who are coming into the investment ecosystem for the very first time. So for the brokers itself, are there specific criteria for these brokers to be able to onboard on the EDR trader itself?
Okay, specific criteria to onboard on the EDR. Okay, yeah. So first thing, technically. So I will speak on technical side of things. So technically, it's the EDR trader is built on the platform API. So just like we mentioned earlier, so you have to basically have a license to the platform API, and also for clients that are on premise that would like to feature on the app, that they need to permit access communication to that service. So the platform, that's what you need. And once you have that, then you can onboard on the EDR trader. So I'll talk on technical side then, probably. You can send a request to our team and we would guide you on the other areas of onboarding.
Okay, thank you, Wale. So one more question on the, on the EDR ERP itself. So as a head of the EOMS business, from your experience with interacting with our customers, and you can just use this to give your final note on the webinar. Okay. So from your experience with dealing with our customers itself, what can you say is a distinct feature for you, on the EDR ERP itself, and what advice do you have for our partners who are attending the session today?
Okay. All right. So on the EDR ERP, there's quite a lot of features that have been put in. So I don't want to go into technical. I think we've heard a lot this afternoon. So, but I think one of the features that I think is stick out for me is the customer service portal. Which is embedded into the application. I think, let me just give you a story, a little bit of background to it. There's always been client portal. There's always been a client portal for customers to log complaints. But the challenge with that is that they have to inform IT to log every request into the platform. And then sometimes it takes time, sometimes you get lost in transit and all of that. Now, with the customer service portal embedded in the EDR ERP, you can basically click, as a user, you're having an issue and all of that. You can just click on it and create a support request on that issue. That means that you don't have to wait to get, support and all of that. And we know exactly who's making the request and we can engage directly. So I think that's one of the key, features for me to enhance the overall application, support experience and give you a better, better experience overall.
Okay, thank you, Wale. It's really nice having you on the platform itself. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So I will call on Okpe to give her final note. Okpe, you just have a couple of minutes to give your final note on this webinar itself to our clients. What is your advice? What are the insights and all of that?
Okay, actually, I'm not going to take too much of your time because I had already said that earlier. So I would want to employ her to try as much as possible to open her mind. You know, just like Sandra said, changes. Sometimes we are not always receptive to change, but I can tell you that this is a change that you would miss out from if you don't go into it because of the business function, the business functionality that are already in place on this new EDI ERP. You really need to be on board in order to be able to key into it and make use of it. And this will actually help your business operation in and out of itself. So thank you so much, and we'll look forward to onboarding you on the EDI ERP.
Okay, thank you so much, Okpe. Before I call on Uwa to give his final remark on it, I would just like to iterate what Wale had said, and I think Uwa had also said regarding the customer portal. Right, so the customer portal itself is a self-service portal. It's embedded with a lot of features, from viewing your service level agreements, from getting resolution to any of the concerns that you have, from trainings to interactions with any of our support personnel. We even have a forum, right? We try as much as possible to be ahead of the curve to provide technological solutions to our customers. How can we do this? With your feedback that is being incorporated to everything that we do, right? We could easily get those from the forum that is being created on the customer service portal. We have a lot of testimonials from you, our customers. So two things, the feedback you provide to each of our support personnel help us to determine the health of your business. We, as InfoWARE, we do not want to assume that everything is well in your own ecosystem. We want to be there for you from every step of the way. So please, I would like to recommend that you look at the general overview of the customer-centric portal, which is available on the EDI ERP, or you could communicate with your support personnel, and we'll look into having to have a walkthrough with you on that. Owa, please kindly confirm that you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. Let me turn my camera.
Over to you.
Yes. Okay, so I think what I'll say is I think it's been a very interactive session. Personally, from where I stand, I think I'm very pleased about it. What I'll say is I want to thank all our customers. We have a very large customer base, again, covering multiple countries. And I want the goal, what we have is we want to work a lot more collaborative with our customers. We have always been doing that. We want to continue to do that. I want to assure all our customers that we are here and we are available for them. Then I also want to thank the team. I mean, everybody here and all the people that are not visible here that have been working behind the scenes. In InfoWARE, it's always been a team effort and a teamwork that we do, and we listen to our customers, and we believe not just in listening but responding to exactly what they say. That's actually what got us here. So it's a journey together, and that journey has been going pretty well, I think. Again, I think one of the best values we have is that we have an absolutely fantastic team. I'm very proud of them. I mean, exceedingly smart set of people that we have here, and I mean, this is not to, I would put it, I don't sound like an exaggeration, but no other enterprise software comes anywhere close to what we have, and that's actually how would I put it, a factual statement. If you just look at it, scale of what we've done and what we continue to do. So the key thing here, what we realize is that when it comes to the application itself, in terms of stability, everybody knows it's exceedingly solid. The area where we want to move forward with is more engagement with our customers, more clarity in terms of support, the ability to be able to respond exceedingly fast, given the online real-time nature of things. Nobody can withstand any kind of thing about waiting 1 or 2 days. Our industry doesn't tolerate that. This is not like regular enterprise software, ERP type thing, where you can come a week later and come and do something. It has to be online real-time. And that's exactly what we've done and built IDEA to support. Of course, there are lots of things which we didn't say. As Chief Software Architect, in terms of the internal infrastructure and kind of diagnostic capabilities that we built into the application to allow for very quick resolution of issues. Those are all there. So I think in summary, I want to just say, you know what, I want to thank everybody, and we are very, very proud of the work we've done, and we are looking forward to, you know, helping our customers achieve their own business objectives. So thanks to everybody that's here, and thanks to the team, my team that made it happen. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uwa. So before we actually end the demo, the webinar, there's currently a poll on your screen. Please would like your feedback on that. And if you have further questions that were not touched during the demo itself, why am I saying demo? I'm sorry about that. During the webinar, so please kindly send it to bizdev@infowarelimited.com, or you could have communications with the support personnel on the CRM portal. We are always here to provide feedback and assistance to you for your business itself. Your feedback is very, very important to us, and we pride ourselves that we are able to provide solutions to wonderful partners like you. Above all, thank you again for joining this demo. Please look out for our newsletters. They are very, very informative. And outside the fact that we send out these newsletters to communicate the necessary changes we have in InfoWARE, our trainings and all of that, right? There's always something to learn from our newsletters. So thank you, and do stay safe. Bye for now.
Thanks, everybody.